in 1890. He came in 1892 with the first class. He came back, they'd go for 10 months, then they'd be off for 2 during the summer for farming, and then they'd come back in the fall for another 10 months. So it was 20 months initially with the first class. So this guy comes from Davenport the second year named Jay Struthers. And Jay Struthers shows up, but this time he brings D.D. Palmer from Davenport. So they take treatments and all that. Struthers never graduates, even though he was there as long as everyone else, and he's in the first class because we have his picture. We have no record of him except the photograph of him. Otherwise, we wouldn't even know who he was.
Blunked out.
Well, basically, no, actually he was doing very well. He just chose to go away. Well, he did because he went up to Davenport and taught D.D. Palmer. So D.D. Palmer, the next thing they hear about D.D. Palmer is 2 years later, he's invented chiropractic medicine. He starts a little class of 6 people. It takes him like years to graduate, like 5 years, including his son. So suddenly, it's in the red, it's not doing well. He leaves it to his son, and he goes to Oklahoma. He's out doing a little technique on the street. Alva Gregory sees him and goes, oh my gosh, why don't we make a school? So they start this school, but within a few months, Alva Gregory realized he has no understanding of anatomy. He knows nothing of medicine. He's using someone else's techniques. So he asks him point blank, where did you learn this? And that's where, on this page, you get this story of an osteopath by the name of Struthers. This is a 1910 publication from the founder of the second chiropractic school with D.D. Palmer. He throws him out because he says there, the guy, he didn't even know medicine. There's no reason to believe he came up with this. And it says this in the second school's book. So Palmer leaves. He goes to Pacific Coast, he starts a new school. Within months, they figure out the same way. He's using someone else's techniques. He has no understanding. So he leaves the Pacific Osteopathic School, comes back to Davenport. They welcome him in a big parade. He falls off, his son runs over him, and he dies from the injury.
Palmer did?
And that's the end of D.D. Palmer. B.J., his son, is the one that made it go. And that's where the word patricide comes from, him killing his father.
Okay.
And they claimed he killed him, but that was in 1908. But here's a book written on basically the spinal lesion by Alva Gregory in 1910. This is the 1912 version from the Palmer Gregory School. Why would he lie? And the only way he could have known who Struthers was, because we don't even know who he is except from pictures, is that he heard it from D.D. Palmer. And Hildreth writes in his book, Lengthening Shadow, page 41, that in 1893, Struthers shows up with this D.D. Palmer guy, big guy, red beard, and that's the first they ever see of this guy, and the next they hear is he's invented chiropractic medicine. But that was written in 1939, and people say, well, of course Hildreth said that. He was his #1 man. But Alva Gregory was an MD, and never an osteopath, and never supported osteopathic medicine, but said the foundation comes from an osteopath. And there it is in this book.
Wow.
Isn't that Craig?
What's the name of the book?
Spinal Treatment. And you can go online and buy this.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
You know,
It was reproduced till 1922, but the original is 1910.
Wow.
the lengthening shadow.